I think you're live.
Hey guys, welcome back to Metal Tips and Tricks. We are of course having a little technical difficulty. It's 2 minutes after 10, sorry about that. Now, I'm really sorry. I know there's some guys that are looking at the other video and it's supposed to be coming up. There's about 25 or 30 of you on that waiting. I apologize. I don't know what to do to get that fixed.
Maybe somebody can post a comment.
Maybe somebody can post a comment or something on the other live chat that I set up. Well, let's quit rambling. Let's start this show. Let's get going. First of all, I want to thank you, all my viewers, for making it to 100,000 subscribers. Hold on just a second. I'm having a little technical issue again.
I just don't have the info about who's here. That's all. Keep going.
Okay, so I was promising you guys that you could send me comments. Actually, can somebody send me a comment to make sure this is all working out? We're trying to work this out. I've got Jennifer behind the camera. She's actually going to be reading the comments and telling me what's going on and see what you guys want to know. So first of all, I want to get back to thanking you guys for making it to 100,000 subscribers. It's taken several years, but the channel is really just starting to kick off again. And I'm finally back in the shop full time. Now, one of the great things about having you guys as guests in my shop today is, well, and you guys are really going to agree with me, is what's great about having guests is you always have to clean up. This is the best this shop has looked. Jen, could you pan just a little bit just to give them an idea? Even though it's really crowded in here, well, the problem is I keep going on Craigslist here in San Francisco. The Craigslist here, guys, is crazy. I am buying machinery that I couldn't buy anywhere else. And when I talk about machinery, especially used machinery, is if you buy used machinery like up in the Chicago area, up in the Rust Belt, the problem with that kind of machinery is it's been used at a factory for 30 years, 3 shifts a day. Here in San Francisco, it's either in a prototype lab or a scientific lab. So everything you buy here is in incredible shape. And I'm going to show you some of the new purchases. I can't show you guys all the new purchases because I buy it and I sell it, and I buy it and I buy something better. So it's been really fun. If you join me on Instagram, you can see some of the things I've bought. Been a lot of fun. Now I want to also talk about the Bar Z Summer Bash coming up really soon. It's in Rancho Cucamonga. I think it's June 25th. Get your tickets if you haven't. When this video uploads, I'll actually put a link down below for that. And also, we're going to be selling mugs there. We're going to be selling the Build Something Cool mug. And also, because we've hit 100,000 subscribers, a lot of you already know the name of the channel has always been, in the original was Metal Tips and Tricks. And I've always loved that name. And at the end of it said Metal Tips and Tricks, Build Something Cool. Well, about a year ago, 2 years ago, we changed the name of the channel to Build Something Cool. And with that Build Something Cool, what we also did was we didn't officially change the name, but we now are officially changing the name. So now when I intro, it's going to be Build Something Cool. And I also want to say thank you to Amy. Now I don't know if you guys know who Amy is. She is Justin's wife, and Justin is from The Good of the Land. And you want to check out his channel. I'll also put a link in below. So she and I did a collab on this logo. Love it. We also have stickers available. T-shirts very soon. The next video I'll talk about the T-shirt campaign. So I'm very excited about that. And let's, do we got any questions up, Jen?
No, we have a lot of comments. Everybody's happy to see you back in the shop.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. It's so cool to be back in the shop. I made 5 trips across the country bringing machinery here. So it's just nice being here. Now, what I'm going to show you today is not, how do I want to say, we're in a lot smaller shop. We have about 1,000 square feet here. We do have 3-phase power. Very cool. But I literally have to line up tools against the wall, and if I need them, I can pull them out. So let's start over, let's go over here and take a look. Show you what's going on in this area. This is a little bit different. This is welding, I always put the welding up against the garage door, as you can see, because I can lift up the door and work out. I do have a fume extractor up here, but I'm going to be selling that because I just don't use it enough. But that's on another list of projects to do. I do have a punch press here. This is a foot operated punch press. I think it's a 5-ton. What I'm excited about this, guys, I wanted to make a deep throat shrinker stretcher, and I was looking at designing one. Well, I picked up one of these on Craigslist for a couple $100. This is going to become a shrinker stretcher, deep throat. Very excited about that. We have our Lincoln TIG 200 square wave here. Under it is its matching brother, the 210 MP. Up here is the, I can't remember what this is called. This is a Palcon. Now, if you guys don't know what a Palcon is, it was basically, I'm going to call it the first digital welder. I know that's not the right term, but you open this thing up inside and there is, I think, 4 boards of just electronic chips. Very cool.
Somebody's laughing about that your shelving is sagging. They've never quite seen so much weight on one of those.
You guys like
It
that?
sags.
You know, it wasn't sagging when I put it up. So, in here is different clamps, grinding stuff, everything that relates to the welding section. Oh, I got something cool here, guys. How many of you guys know what this is? Now, it's a woodworking tool, but I'm going to come in here a little bit closer and show you. This is an abrasive planer, so it has a sanding belt in here. It's not a drum, it's actually a belt, and the belt goes back and forth. And it's an amazing machine for sanding. It's got a 15-inch width on it, but because it's open on this side, you can actually flip the board around and get 30 inches. But I bought it for steel, so let me come up here a little bit closer. Jen, can I see that?
Yeah.
This, okay, so I ran this through really quick. Here's what the finish, had a little bit of rust on it, ran it through the sander once, very lightly, very, very lightly, and just cleaned it up. That took seconds to do what I do, 3 sides. This is going to be a big time saver. I'm going to show you on a video that's coming up, but actually I'll get into that a little bit later. Back here is a one of the sheet metal machines that what do we call it? It will cut, break, and roll. This is a 48-inch. They're good for only like 22 gauge material. Very thin stuff. You guys have probably seen the video here for the stand, for the anvil. Back here is a decal. I can't remember what the name on the numbers on this, but this is really a cool machine. It's a beautiful looking machine. It was given to me, well actually, it wasn't technically given to me. I had to load it on my trailer. That was the charge for getting this. And what's great about it is it's a 3-dimensional, how do I want to say, copy machine, but it'll do it 3-dimensional. It won't just do like engraving. You can actually copy things. And when this came out, it was so accurate that the U.S. Mint was scared people would use it to make plates for money, so this will not do a 1-to-1 ratio, which I thought was very interesting. Over here we got the Bridgeport milling machine base with a Comet 3-horse variable speed head on it. This is one of those great stories that this has got to be the ugliest milling machine I've ever seen in my life. And it's tight. I was really shocked. Now, I do plan to scrape it in. It's not that tight, but it's the tightest milling machine I have. And remember, guys, when you're looking at buying a milling machine, I can guarantee one thing: if you're buying it used, it's worn. Now, the question is, how much is it worn out? That's the real question. I had one where it had an 1/8-inch belly in here. It was worn out that much. So who's up? Who have we seen any?
You have like 92 people watching. It's hard to get a full list of who all's here, but there's a lot of great stuff. And somebody is commenting on flip-flops, of course. Your signature.
Okay, guys, I found this YouTuber. I don't know where he's at, and I think his channel is called Time to Learn or something like that. I'm not sure where he's at. I want to say he's in South America. This guy does some of the most amazing stuff with just a drill press, a grinder, and some just basic hand tools. I was watching a video this morning where he took some bicycle parts and made a tubing bender. No lathe, no milling machine, and it worked amazing. And what I love about his channel also, full-time flip-flops. Full-time. Now you guys, I know it's not the safest thing to do. I will admit I have lost a toenail because I've worn flip-flops in the shop. But there's two danger factors here. Okay, danger is losing a toenail, or the danger is, since we have an apartment here, and this is actually where we live up above, kind of like what Tom Lipton does. The other danger is me tracking metal filings upstairs and having to tell my wife how they got there. So I figured it's safer for me to wear flip-flops in the shop and keep my wife happy than anything else. So I am working on, there are some slip-on boots that I'm looking at getting. I've been trying to find the right pair, haven't. If you guys have any suggestions, I'd love to hear it.
You have people from Scotland. William's here from Scotland. Jesse's
Hey,
here from
Williams!
Toronto. I believe there was somebody who chimed in from Holland.
Toronto, Holland, amazing guys. Glad to see you in the shop visiting.
People want mugs.
We're working on that. You guys are going to be able to order the mugs. Also some other really cool items, but I was having some challenges with the company. They're a great company. Their website is having issues this week. So I wanted to announce the whole new t-shirt campaign and other products. And we also have some other t-shirts that'll be coming out, which I think you guys will really be excited about. Like I said, I'm doing this full time. I want to show you a product though. This is an unpaid, since people are really upset when I do paid things. We've got something from Fireball Tools. Jason actually sent me this to test it. And these are magnetic gauge blocks, and you use them to set up, like if you got a piece that you need to get level or whatever, and you obviously need to fill it in. Jason came up with these, and I gotta say, they are amazing. Jason, great idea. So I just wanted to show you guys that.
I have to find the comment. Somebody's asking you to go through the wall of buffers and grinders.
Oh, we're gonna get over there, guys.
You also have people from Russia, from Germany.
Russia,
from
hey!
Canada, all kinds of places. I cannot read his name, or I would call him out by name. South Africa, Illinois, Cape Cod CNC is here.
Excellent, hey!
Montana.
Okay, we're going to turn the camera around. We're going to get over to the grinding section here in a minute. Jim's going to move the camera around. Actually, you guys see this stand, this roll around? I got two of these, 50 bucks a piece, and they're hydraulic. And this table will come up to here. Greatest invention ever.
I've been to Belgium, Ghent.
We're going to come over here. I want to show you guys one of the newest tools that we're in the process of making, or building, or modifying. I have a Hausfeld bender #2 here, and we're setting it up so it'll be on this cabinet. Yes, there will be a video coming out. Now, here is what's gonna rock your world, guys. These drawers are set up with all the tooling. So these are kept hidden underneath, and always out of the elements, because you can see these, well, there's some cleanup to be done here. This is also a hydraulic unit. The hydraulic unit will be on the back side. This here will sit. Now I talk about having a small space. Every space has to be used, so that's why this cabinet is here to hold all the tooling underneath. Now, a Hausfeld bender is very long, and you want to have it out over the edge so you can manipulate it more. So this is actually going to be on a slide. It'll slide out, and then we'll be able to bend whatever metal we want from there. Like I said, the hydraulics will be on the back side underneath. So this whole thing, we pan the camera over to this side, will slide in here. So here's the Kalamazoo Bandsaw, and it, like I said, the dimensions are really important, because when you look at the welders, everything over there in the welders, those cabinets are all the same length and fairly much the same size, so I can just bring things in, slot them in, and make them work. Here's a fun product or thing I got. Not the bandsaw. You guys seen the bandsaw? My brother Terry did that for me. He bought it on Craigslist when we were up in Idaho. And I said, Terry, I want that bandsaw. He says, no. Jen and I went to California, which we're now here for Christmas, came back, and he had this completely rebuilt, just like you see it, and it had a bow on it. So that was my Christmas gift. Thank you, Terry.
Somebody wants to know what the story is with the engine. Somebody who's not been following you on Facebook.
Okay, the engine. We have a 351 Windsor here. This is this week's project. I'm not going to do a video, guys, on it. It's too much work. If you've been following me on Instagram, you guys know that Jen and I bought this off-road van with a pop top to go camping. Well, driving across the country, we were in Texas visiting Justin from Good of the Land, and we had transmission problems. Well, the transmission took 6-8 months to get it fixed. That shop is, well, we're going to be dealing with them later. I won't go into that too much, but this has been covered on Instagram. And then, oh, I just lost his name. Stephen Cox had to modify to get the transmission working, had to put a new computer on it because the other guy screwed up the other computer. Well, I was driving it back from Texas, the engine went bad. And I just found out that the engine may have gone bad. What happened is the thrust washer worn out, completely worn out. Driving from Texas to California is about 200 miles away, and had to have the car towed the rest of the way. Well, what I found out just recently reading is that the centrifugal clutch, not centrifugal clutch, whatever the clutch is on an automatic transmission may have worn that out. So the guy that caused me troubles with the transmission originally may have also fried the engine. So that's going to go into the van.
Here's a great question, Dale. Through the Bulkhead wants to know if you could only pick one tool, what would be your coolest one?
Okay, it's a machine. Surface grinder. Without a doubt, I love the surface grinder. I can do more on a surface grinder than I can do anything else. It's just a slower process, but it's so accurate. And that's what I love about metalworking is the accuracy. Now, I used to be a woodworker, and I still do some woodworking. I've done a little bit on the channel, but wood moves, guys. I can't predict what it's going to do. Metal, if it goes up 20 degrees, I can actually measure the difference in how much it changes by its temperature. So the surface grinder, thanks for a great question. Now we're going to get back over here. I might have to move the camera. So this here is a sheet metal slitter. And if you follow me on Instagram, I did a quick little video showing it. And what you're able to do is feed sheet metal in from the end, actually kind of like this. Feed it in, and it will actually cut the sheet metal. And you can cut any length you want, non-stop. It's really fast, super accurate. And I think I paid $35 for it, running. I mean, literally, it looks terrible. Plugged it in, put some sheet metal through it, and just like went right through it, not a problem. Here's the bead roller. You guys have seen videos on this. I like this bead roller. It's a copy of Lazzy. If you haven't seen his channel, you should check it out. He's kind of the guru in bead rolling. This is a copy of his, the best I could do, kind of a reverse engineering, but at the end of the day, I don't like it. And I'm working on another design that is heavier, bigger. And I say I don't like it, it doesn't work for my applications. The concept is really great. Back here is a cold saw, which I either have to get it running, which it technically runs. I just haven't used it that much. And I either have to, like I say, get it going or get rid of it because square footage, of course. Look at this. Is this thing great? This is a very unique, hold on, we have some technical issues. Hold on, guys.
It's in the front, that's the problem.
Let's do this. Don't you guys just love live?
We just surpassed my cameraman skills.
Okay. All right, let's start it over. Here, we got any other questions coming up?
What upcoming projects are you planning to do from Blue Chip Builders Wigan, who has missed viewing your videos?
Okay. This is what I'm trying to figure out, guys. So I'm in the process right now of trying to still, even though I'm showing you a shop tour, the shop's not done, and I'm trying to get back to building something cool. And unfortunately, there's so much maintenance going on just to get things going, like trying to get the 6-jaw chuck set up on this. A lot of people want a lathe leveling, actually I'd say lathe alignment and leveling video, and I really want to do that. I'm trying to figure it out. I think my next one is going to be about the Hausfeld bender. I want to get that thing up and running. It's such a beautiful machine. I've got all the parts I need for it ordered. They're all here. They're just waiting for time. But this week, hold on, we got somebody. Stan, you're losing viewers and you have no moderator.
That's actually not true.
Thank you, Stan. Love you. If you don't guys know Stan, he's the instigator of the Barzy summer bash. So hopefully I'm getting through now. Stan, thank you so much. Hold on, guys.
Lots of commentary about the TV over the lathe.
Okay, you guys are gonna love this. So there's places that are dangerous to be. Okay. Being in my mind alone is dangerous. So I will have a TV show, usually some bad sci-fi TV show, and I will listen to the entire show, I mean all 4 seasons, and never even know what the characters look like. It's just noise in the background. And I gotta say, it's better than AM talk radio. So that's why the TV is here. It's just motion and sound to keep...
Stinker.
Yeah, you're watching me live talking to you. How you doing, Dennis? Good, good. We are. Hold on, Dennis, hold on. Dennis, you are now live.
That's cool. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Guess you won't be making it to the bash this year, huh?
I can't, unfortunately. I have a work trip I have to do. They scheduled it at a bad time.
Good. Well, I'm trying to get things scheduled. If everything goes well, I will be making it to the bash.
Oh, good, good. So if you guys don't know who Dennis is from Seiko Tools, and you are the lead designer for all the milling cutters, is that correct?
All the solid round tools, yeah.
All the solid round tools. So every time I have a conversation with you, it's always over my head, but I always enjoy them. So we're gonna get back to rocking and rolling here, because I got to get this video going. These people want to see more of the shop, Dennis.
All right, buddy. I got to get out the shop and do some cleaning. I got to pick up more stuff.
No, you got to go out in the shop and build something cool. Thanks for checking in, Dennis.
Somebody wants to know if you will be running a rotary phase converter or if you have 3-phase available.
I actually have 3-phase here. What's interesting is I have 3-phase with a wild leg. So usually 3-phase you have like 3 legs that come in that are 120 volts each, and that gives you 240 when you add it all up. I have it, the 3rd leg is wild, they call it, and actually it's 240, and I found that out the hard way because I burned up something that somebody had wired in wrong on a plug, and they actually wired in that wild leg into a 110, and I plugged something into it, and well, smoke came out of whatever I plugged into. So I found that out the hard way. I'd heard of it, I thought it was an antiquated system, but it's all been updated. Okay, back to this bandsaw. I can't remember who makes it, but this thing is amazing. I don't know if we can, it's frozen up right now, kind of, but the table slides. That's what makes it great. It's very similar to that saw that Tom has, except it doesn't take up as much room as his. This also has a hydraulic system on it to run the table. It has an air compressor. You can use the air compressor to run different types of fluids for cooling. It also has a different pumping system. It's an amazing bandsaw. I can't wait to get this thing going. I've had it now for 2.5 years, and it's on the top of my list to do. but I'm trying to get away from restoration because it happens all the time. So let's talk about this lathe. You got a good shot there?
I do.
Jennifer's laughing at me.
Somebody said Jim Bollinger's calling you next.
Jim, give me a call, buddy. Okay, so here we go. Now, sticking with, this is funny. So I did a video, I don't know, 3 years ago in Atlanta, talking about how to buy a lathe. And I have a certain standard it's hard to keep to, and I can only keep that standard by patience. My standard is I never pay more than $1,000 for a lathe. And yes, we only paid $1,000 for this Italian lathe. And it came with everything. It actually, a doctor originally owned it, because we have the original paperwork on it. I'm the third owner of this machine. It's an amazing, amazing machine. Now, it is an Italian machine. And because it's Italian, it's got some little screwy features like, here's something I bet you guys didn't know about Italian lathes. Now, in America, we call this a chip pan, okay? In Italy, they actually call this a tool holder. See? This is where you put all your tooling. So, you guys do the same thing. Just admit it, you have tools in your chip tray. I know you really well. But what's interesting about this machine is, well, there's a lot of things. For one thing, it's metric. We're going to be changing that out. We're going to make that American standard. But for threading, the gearbox, this doesn't just have a gearbox, it also has change gears, okay? So when you read, actually we're going to bring the camera over here so you can see a little better. Okay, can you guys see me okay? All right, so this is where the change gears are. And I can do metric and Whitworth, which Whitworth is an American standard, is a British standard, but it basically is, you know, English. So we can change the gears here, and we have a chart. So we have different change gears right here that we can move out. So we have a combination of here and change gears. But here's what's really screwy. I have this one that's a 56E. Okay, there is no such thing as a 56E change gear. But it's really important because if I set this to number 4, set it to A, let's see, to B, I get 13 threads per inch, which of course is half-inch thread, something you need a lot. I'm trying to figure out what is a 56E. Well, when you come over here to this lever, this changes the rotation of this to the screw, but there's an additional, let's see if I can, of course it's not going to cooperate right now. Well, let me just describe it to you. So I have, for this rotation, to move the carriage back and forth, I also have 2 positions for the screw, and the screw there's an E position. And I got to tell you guys, that will really screw you up. So you got to be very careful when working with this lathe. If you put that knee, trusting these numbers here, well, I can imagine it would be very frustrating. So as you can see, we've got the 6-jaw chuck on here. Still trying to decide what's going on now. There was some controversy about the 6-jaw chuck in that switching out the grease, some people said it didn't change it. Really what you're talking about is slip stick. That's where 2 parts come together. And one, you know, they want to move, but then they all of a sudden move quickly. And that's a slip stick. And that's what was happening with the other grease is there was a slip stick going on with all the jaws. So some would move, some wouldn't. So going with the thicker grease from WD-40, thank you WD-40, it just made it easier to work. Let's, shall we go to the grinding room? We're going to move the camera again. I hope you guys are enjoying the festivities. We're going to do some technical stuff here. Okay, Jen, you're up. Okay, guys, here is one of my favorite tools now in the shop. Not only doesn't hold my Noga stands really well. It's actually a tool cutter grinder. Now this is more than just a single lip. This is a Gordon 375, and a single lip tool cutter grinder usually just takes raw round stock and you split it in half, and you're able to shape that and make it into special tools. And they're really known for working on copy machines like that one over there. But this one has an additional feature, is it can rotate and also move in and out. What that allows me to do is I can also sharpen end mills. So I can sharpen the flutes on the end mills. And Dennis, I know whenever I do sharpening videos, Dennis from Seiko Tools gives me a bad time and says, Dale, you have to do a better video than that one. But Dennis, still love you. Here is the Emeco Carbide grinder. This is set up to 5 degrees. I always have these things set up to 5 degrees because that's the angle I always grind at. Sometimes 3, but normally 5. Ball door buffer grinder. You guys have of course seen this machine here. I did a whole video on this. I'm actually working on modifying this. After using it, I found a lot of new things that I can do with this, and this one doesn't do it. The base machine is excellent. The table is okay. The wheels are too small for what I do, so we're going to update that. So Jen, can you kind of give a better view of this area here? Can you zoom in, or?
Yes, we're having some trouble with the focus, so I apologize. We're on an iPad and it's just not wanting to focus as well as a camera would, but yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys a hint on cameras. On the autofocus, what they try to focus on is skin tone, so they really work in the red zone. So whenever you see something that goes out of focus, and look where it focuses, is that sometimes on something in the background that's red. So okay, where can we start here? There is just so much junk in here, guys. Is there something anybody's seeing that's sticking? I don't know how close the image is. So
zoom in a little more on the
this
top
is
shelf,
all kind of
maybe.
set up now. Again, I'm still trying to get everything fit in here. This grinding room is really narrow. I call it a grinding room only because there's kind of a wall there. And it's not a full grinding room, but you guys can see that it is very tight in here. But up in here is all the tooling for these machines. Here is a 4-jaw chuck that mounts to a 5C.
Somebody says, this is no junk, this is tools.
Okay, guys. Now, when I was in Atlanta, moving over here, I sold 2/3 of the stuff off. Okay, what I really kept was any machinery that I've rebuilt and all the tooling. And that was, well, I had a lot of flat tires, let's say, a lot of weight. So here is something you don't see very often. And these are actually really affordable. This is a multi-directional clamp, and it's set up for tool cutter grinders, but you can also put on a surface grinder if you need to do some really accurate grinding on tooling. This is really a great way to do it. This is the Taiwan version. I also have the American version. The Taiwan works really great. The only problem is the etching for the angles is pretty wimpy on this. Let's see, I've got some different vices. This one is really cool. This is a homemade vise. I picked it up last week or last month at the Alameda Flea Market. Really just an interesting design. I like how it has this big tooth under here to help keep everything in alignment. You know, the other ones, when they clamp down, well, the pins are always falling off. There's a 4-inch in here, 2 other 3-inch ones.
What's your most precise tool on the shelf?
Precise. I'm not sure what the definition of precise is, because preciseness is really up to the operator. I've seen people with some very crude tools do some amazing stuff. Okay, so precise is really up to the operator, because I could give you the best lathe in the world and put a bad operator on, it's not going to produce good parts. I had a Hardinge metal lathe, and I was going to do a rebuild on it, but decided not to bring it here. And that thing was so worn out. The Acme threads on it for threading were actually triangle shaped when they're supposed to be Acme. That's how worn out the whole bed was. But somebody was still producing accurate parts on that worn out lathe to get it that worn out. So that's kind of it. So most precise, gosh, I don't know. But I will tell you guys that, actually, here's precise. Talk about precise. Here's a simple 5C Collet holder from Hardinge. Bearings are everything. If you guys could feel how smooth this is, how well it operates, bearings really determine how accurate something is going to grind or to be rotated, of course. And you don't take these apart. I mean, you can, but you really risk at not getting back together again accurately. So when you're talking precise, here's a Hardinge with the most amazing bearing set. And I've kind of learned that there's a reason there's companies out there, all they do is replace bearings like in surface grinders or milling machines or whatever, and bearings are now becoming more in a cartridge form. So you can just take out the cartridge and put that in, but it still costs a lot of money to do it. Okay, over here.
Precision Machine Works says precise equals expensive, which is perfect given his name.
That's a good one. It's such a good point. That's why my most accurate tools are used tools that I paid, you know.
Troy wants to know what your most versatile tool is.
Versatile? Okay, Troy, you're going to have to define what do you mean versatile. A hammer is a very versatile tool and gets used a lot, even on 6-jaw chucks, if you guys didn't see the controversy on my last video about that. Versatile. I would say the most versatile machine is the milling machine. I can do a lot of different stuff on that. I can even do some lathe turning on that. And if you guys aren't following Solid Rock Machinery or Solid Rock Machine, you should check them out. He actually did a video over there, several videos on actually doing turning on his milling machine and actually doing multiple parts. So you might want to check that out. So here we are at the surface grinder. This is the 618. I'm going to tell you guys, don't go for a 6x12. That chuck is just too small. And when I say it's too small, you end up fighting. You have to dress these stones often. You have to dress these wheels often. Well, you can see if I put a dresser on here, that takes up quite a bit. So sometimes that extra 6 inches is just about to give you a little bit more room. So if you guys are looking at buying a surface grinder, get a 618. You'll never be disappointed. And at the end of the day, it doesn't take up any more room. Over here, we're at the KLE tool cutter grinder. You know, I wish I would spend more time doing videos on this. Tool cutter grinders are probably one of the hardest things to learn how to operate. They are a skill set in themselves. I remember talking to somebody from Seiko Tools, not Dennis, but one of his reps, and he goes, he remembers at a time when there was always a guy in the back room, and that's all he did all day long, was sharpen tooling for the shops. That's all he would do, full time. And you almost have to spend full time on one of these to really get it to work. But it's really a fun tool to have. I can also set this one up to do cylindrical grinding.
Where's the lens? I'm trying to clean the lens. Maybe that's part of the problem. So I just said it feels like it's got Vaseline on it. So
are we a little sharper on the lens, guys?
See if that makes it any better.
So how many of you guys are watching right now?
179.
Nice, nice. Okay, we have...
That did not help, apparently.
I'm sorry, guys. Technology is really interesting. We have this all set up one way to, well...
Anyway.
We're getting frustrated.
The tube broke on top of the surface grinder. What happened?
Okay. This machine tipped over in the truck, guys.
Is that what happened to my trash can?
That's what happened to Jennifer's trash can. We sacrificed a $150 trash can for the surface grinder. So that's what happened, and it's funny that you pointed that out. I forgot that it broke until you mentioned that. So I'll put that on the list of things to fix. Luckily, it's an easy tool, or it's easy to fix, and it broke. Probably the screw would have been all the way down. So luckily it didn't bend the screw. This is supposed to be sealed so dirt doesn't get inside, especially grinding dust. Okay, over here we have the 18-inch homemade disc sander. This thing, when you have to do disc sanding, guys, 18 inches is the way to go. Now here's one of the fun purchases. Is this CNC milling machine. Now it's a homemade, home-brewed machine, and I'm really excited about getting into CNC, but I gotta say, when I started playing with it, I found out why Tormachs cost so much money. This is not a tight machine. It has ball screws, it has that, but really what I want to do, and I want to see if you guys would like to see this, I need to do a full scraping video, or I would like to do a full scraping video on bringing this up to speed, getting it tight. I might do some linear bearings on it, I might not. There's some other flaws.
Mach 3 or Linux CNC?
This is Mach 3. And you guys, I am just learning. I can turn it on. I've tried to mill some stuff. Wow, I can cut something out faster. I can make a complicated part faster on a manual machine than I can this. But there's some goals to this. There's some products that I want to bring to market for you guys. I've redesigned the micrometer. And when you guys see the design of the micrometer I'm working, I promise you, you're going to want to buy one. Because my challenge with the micrometer is you try to read a round part, especially on the lathe, is it's a touchy-feely thing. And you can always get it cocked a little this way, a little that way. Well, the new mic that I'm working on eliminates all those problems. And that's one of the reasons I got this, is to start testing and prototyping for that. So do we have any questions over in this?
We do.
Oh,
We do
good.
have a couple questions. What are the things mounted to the table of the grinder?
Let's see, which grind, are we talking this grinder here?
Don't know.
I'm gonna bet this is it. So being a tool cutter grinder, you have different apparatuses you can fit on it. This one here is a motorized head. So I can put a
Yes,
cutter in.
that one.
Yeah, so I can put a cutter in here and grind it. I can also do rotary grinding. This one here is the same thing, except because it has, I can articulate, I can tilt it up, I can pivot it. It's also set up for grinding, but not, how do I want to say? It's not for cylindrical grinding. That's what I meant this word is, cylindrical grinding. So they're just special ways to hold tooling so you can sharpen them. And that's what this is about. And like I said, it really gets complicated fast. I'm trying to remember, there's another YouTuber out there. Oh, I just watched this video this morning, I can't remember. I'll come back to him in a little bit, that has shown using his tool cutter grinder. Actually, I had two of these, and I gave him one. So, boy, I hate it when I can't remember names.
Paul wants to know if the CNC is a Grizzly and what model it is.
Okay, Paul, this is a Grizzly GO463. Now, I know most people went with a larger one of these, and I wish this was a larger version. I knew nothing about it. It came up on Craigslist at a price I thought was fair, so I went and bought it, sight unseen. But it came with everything to operate it, okay? And that's what I was after. I was after a plug and play. And it kind of is a plug and play, but like I said, I have to go through it, bring it up to the tolerances that I'm used to.
And how much would such a machine cost?
This one here, I paid $2,000 for. But I will say, here's...
I didn't know that.
Now, when we talk about spending money here, there's a challenge here. I'm not gonna go off in this one tangent, which Jennifer's expecting me to go off about shoes and handbags, but we're not gonna talk about that. Usually a machine like this came because I bought one machine, fixed it up, and resold it for a higher price. So that's how most of the shop was paid for, is just cleaning up and reselling.
Johnson Higgins wants to know what's the most expensive thing you've built.
Most expensive thing I've ever built.
And Billy says 2,000, not bad, by the way.
I don't know, because we don't sell things. Actually, I'll back up. Probably, I don't do commission.
You sold it. You could have used it.
Okay. I think what's coming up is probably the hot felt bender. I think that's what's going to be the most expensive thing that I've built, give or take. I mean, that's a tough question.
The Metrology Center?
Oh, the Metrology Center.
Which we'll
That's
get to in
it.
a little
Which
bit, I'm
that's in the
sure.
next room.
Good segue.
Oh, that's kind of like, so the Bardsey Summer Bash, I did a quiz, and some of them, you know, talking about different YouTubers, and I said, okay, does anybody know what the heaviest thing is I ever worked on one of my videos? And everybody said the Metrology Center, and one guy goes, no, it was your Land Rover. So I don't even know my own video collection. All right, we're gonna come over to this cabinet here. Now, in theory, this cabinet is set up for the metal lathe. And I gotta say, guys, if you want great cabinetry, this is my favorite type of cabinets because you can open up each cabinet individually. Some of these actually have sliding shelves, which I haven't found yet, but I'm looking forward to. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I said I'm not ready to, hold on, I need to keep the camera there. At the beginning of the video, I talked about that the shop really is not, it's up and running, but it's not organized. But here's some fun things I just picked up. This is a 5C collet with jaws on it that you can machine out the exact size you need. Picked that up recently. This is all 5C collets. There's a full set of 64s. I've got some also squares, some hex, all sort of fun stuff in there. More 5C collets. Holders. Wow. I got a lot of junk. Okay, I know I'm in California. You guys did not see the ammunition in the corner. Don't tell anybody I have ammunition in the shop. More tooling. More tooling everywhere. Over here is kind of set up with metal lathe, some milling, kind of storage, chucks, lathe chucks, rotary table down here, grinder. So this is kind of a little bit of milling machine, V-blocks. I have a huge collection of V-blocks, all different sizes, just kind of fun. Great stuff in there. So let's take you over to the Metrology Center and measuring and all that fun stuff. Now here's a quiz. Actually, is there any questions?
Bad time to ask that. What is the multi-fix in storage? Why is the multi-fix in storage?
Okay, I don't have enough tool holders for it right now. That's the reason. So every month I'm buying myself a new tool holder. And I actually plan to put it on the lathe and do a whole video on that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the compound on top and do what Robin Renzetti did and basically get rid of the compound and mount a solid block and mount that onto it. And the reason you do that is you add a lot of rigidity to the machine. So I just haven't gotten around to it. The tool post or the tool post holder or the tool holder right now on there is a BX. So, or BX, BXB, well, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not the A, it's the B. And I also have an AX, which I need to do something with. So here we're at the Metrology Center. Now, here is the $1 million question. Why is this in the wrong location?
There may have been a comment or two already about that.
Okay, who knows why this is in the wrong location? Do we have any?
People are really just commenting a lot on the sun coming through.
And that's exactly it. This here is probably...
Because you like to build warped stuff, someone said.
I like to build warped stuff. And this is the problem.
The room is clean or because it fits.
Well, I thought it'd be cool to have the window, and I knew that when we moved in here, we're literally right on the beach. I mean, literally, it's right there. We laugh because the seals keep us awake at night, literally, so we have to keep our windows closed. Well, when we moved in, it's always overcast. Well, the sun's never out. Well, we found out the sun's out a lot here. So I do have a garage door that comes down that I can close it, but this is in the wrong spot. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, is the temperature here and here is probably about 20 degrees. And because there's heat here, we're adding energy to it, therefore it's expanded. So this is probably warped over this. It's in a bad location. So this does have plans, and we're going to move it over to the other section, but I'll talk to you guys about that a little bit later. So this is the stuff that I just like to have out for instant access. And it looks cool. And that's also the point, is it has to look cool. One of the other problems I'm having here in California, being right on the beach, is we have a lot of wind and a lot of sand, and I cannot keep this table clean. It is the craziest thing. I've never.
People are also curious about whether you're having trouble with corrosion. They're wondering about controlling humidity and corrosion being close to the ocean.
Okay, that is a bigger deal outside, and it was a bigger deal in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, the humidity in Atlanta was just crazy. I remember in my commercial shop there that I was just moving in, and I had the air conditioning running one day, and the next morning I came in, opened up the garage door, and all the heat, all the humidity from inside came inside, and literally the walls and the cement were sweating. I mean, we're talking I had to take a mop and a squeegee to get rid of the water. Craziest thing ever. So here, it hasn't been a problem inside the shop, where in Atlanta, I had a piece of steel sitting on this. It was actually a straight edge, and there's still a stain from it when it was in Atlanta. Here, I'm not having that problem. Anything that's left outside, yeah, it rusts like that because it's salt water, sand, whole bunch of problems. But here, it's so much better than Atlanta. So I don't know, do you guys want me to go through all the drawers? I guess we can just do kind of a quick opening. Now, I'll say when I built this, I was in a rush because we had lost our lease on the commercial space and was moving the shop, and I wanted to finish up this video. And the drawers don't move as well as I would like, and I'm very, very frustrated by that. But this top drawer here is set up with micrometers. Oh, here's a beautiful one. I'm gonna bring this one in close. Can you guys see that? So that's a thread mic. This is a 0 to 1. I also have its matching brother, a 1 to 2. So very cool, very nice to have. These are just general mics. Down here we have thread gauges, radius gauges. I forgot what you call these things. I'm getting tired, guys. We have these in different sizes. So there's an 18. I actually have some of these that are 4 feet long. Very cool. Down here is squares. Dial indicators.
Calipers is the word.
Thank you. Don't you guys hate that when you just get old and you forget things? This is all about V blocks and different. Okay, again, help me out, guys. What are these called?
It takes a minute.
Parallels. That's it. Parallels. This is where parallels are. I've got thin sets. I've got thick sets. All in this area. And then I think down here we kind of get more into just junk. I do have some levels in here. Yeah, this is more junk down here. So, that's kind of the Metrology Center. Over here we're setting up, we've got a heat treating oven. We're actually going to put a new modern controller on this. You guys remember this cabinet for the forge? And we hope to be doing some forging probably next fall. We'll see what happens. Over here we have some large taps, dies, that kind of stuff. This is files, wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, tools, that kind of stuff. Over here is, boy, all sorts of cool stuff. It's kind of like Christmas. Different types of tool holders. In here for the lathe, milling machine. And it's kind of embarrassing, guys, to not have these stored properly. It is on the list to get that done. This is also set up for screw machines. I've got different things for that, which I don't have a screw machine, of course, but I'm going to do a video on how to do things without a screw machine. Lathe cutters, milling machine cutters, more milling machine cutters. Oh, and there's drill bits down here. Several drawers, drill bits. Horizontal cutters. I know you guys are saying, Dale, you don't have a horizontal cutter. I actually, or a horizontal mill. I actually do, but I'm not going to show it in this video. I'm going to save that for another time. This is set up for nuts and bolts. Now, one thing, how many of you guys have coffee cans full of nuts and bolts? Come on, admit it. I know you guys do, because you probably got them for me, because I got rid of all mine finally. I only have one drawer of miscellaneous nuts, bolts, and screws. The rest of these are sets, okay? So this is set up for 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8, 1/2 inch. These are the most common sizes I use. Lengths and everything. Big time saver. Well worth the investment. Just odd and end stuff here. Oh, look at this. Who knows what these are? Thread chasers. I have a bunch of these. I have all sorts of sizes. I got them at the Alameda Flea Market. Do you guys want to know the price? I think I bought, like, boy, I don't know, a handful of them for $10. You guys know what that means. Very cheap. So here we've got plumbing, electrical. This is a lot of specialty tool metals and brasses in here. Sandpapers. More specialty metals. So that's kind of this. Again, we have still boxes up here. Some of these are just being set up for items to sell. And I got a question for you guys. I am thinking about doing a tool swap meet here at my shop. What do you guys think? Put something in the comments. Let me know if you guys are interested in selling or buying or both. I don't know. I mean, I kind of do everything. So I got enough space here to probably set up maybe 30 tables, 38-foot tables, and we'd make it an all-day event. So I just want to see what you guys think. And also, is there a time of year you'd want to do it? Because I need to get rid of some machines.
Jeff Flanders says he'll be there.
All right, all right. Now, it will be in San Francisco, so you're responsible to get here. Now, I know you guys from Germany and Russia. Well, it may be a little harder to get here, but I'm kind of excited about doing this. So it's, I love buying and selling tools, as you guys know.
Are there any plans for the big straight edge? I lost the comment.
Yes.
Leaning against the couch.
Did you see this? Let me bring it out for you
Here, I
guys.
can get it down there.
Oh. Okay. So, this is Georgia rust. This is a beam straight edge. I'm going to actually cut it in half and make 2 straight edges out of it. I don't need one set up like this. I have no value out of it. I bought it on eBay, and the guy couldn't sell it because nobody realized that you just cut it up and make 2 of them. So that's it. It's kind of interesting that you can see how sometimes somebody added on to the casting here. So this was definitely set up for a specialty machine. I really don't know. But this is on the list of one of the videos to do. And again, guys, I'm trying to get back to building cool stuff, but there's all these maintenance projects I need to do. So I want to start wrapping this up. Is there any questions out there?
Yes. Aurelius wants to know, is that green air compressor on the oven?
Oh, isn't this cute?
Oops.
That's a little air compressor. It was $5. I couldn't just let it sit on a table for $5. The pulley is worth $5. I have this idea. I was going to send Eric from Hand Tool Rescue does some really great stuff. He's always rebuilding something. And I thought I was going to send him a note and see if he wanted this. So it's really just kind of a cool little air compressor. A lot of fun.
I'm scrolling back up. Oh, please. Lots of coffee cans and mason jars.
Oh, I forgot about the mason jars. Now, I grew up where, so I had 4 older brothers, and what my dad kept all the nuts and bolts in were baby food jars, okay? But he would screw the lids into it, so we'd have a shelf of these, and the lids were actually screwed in to the bottom, so you bring the jar and tighten it, and when you need it, unneeded it, or when you need to take it out, you unscrew it and pull it out, and there's all those screws. So it was really a great way to do it, because you could always see what was in the jars, and they were held and secured, not tipped over.
Billy Huddleston's asking if you can talk about your height gauges on top of the Metrology Center.
Okay, so let's take a look at these. The height gauges are really kind of a interesting thing for, this one here is not an expensive one, it's a cheap one, and I gotta say, I am looking for a Mitutoyo. I'm really having some problems with this one. When I start using it, what I find out is I'm getting some inaccuracies in it because it's just not rigid enough. So there's a reason these are only $100. This one here is a Starrett. These are great because you can pick these up. They're incredibly accurate. They have a vernier gauge on these. Incredibly accurate, and you can pick them up sometimes for 25 bucks. And we joke that they come in these beautiful mahogany boxes, and the boxes are worth more than the gauge inside.
Do you have a Digicheck height gauge?
I don't.
Just wants to know.
I'm looking for one. I just haven't found one yet. This one here, which I don't want to, hold on a second. I always, very rarely does anything ever sit on this table unless it's a project I'm working on where it's not on a paper towel so I don't scratch this. So nothing ever gets set on here. So we have this one set up. This is all set up with an electronic system here, so I can read, what is the accuracy on this? Oh, a 10 millionths of an inch, is that right? 10 million inches, 10 millionths of an inch? I can't remember. Crazy. In other words, if I lean against this, it changes the measurement. So I can get accuracies that are pretty amazing, pretty crazy. It's working actually technically, guys, at a level that's far past my abilities. But it's just fun to be able to measure incredibly accurate. And I can actually set up 2 probes on this so I can get a yin and yang relationship between something. All right.
I had one more I wanted to get you. Troy wanted to know when you think you'll upgrade the kiln.
That's a good question. I just got some wire for it. I'm still doing some research. I gotta say, it's really exciting right now in the kiln world because there's new controllers that are coming out every 6 months now, it seems like. And I'm kind of waiting. Some of them are getting to the point where you're able to control them on your phone. It'll also warn you on your phone when it's ran through an entire cycle. So I am looking at upgrading that. I was hoping to have it upgraded 2 months ago, but you guys know how schedules work. And I will be doing a video on the upgrade. I picked this up in Georgia. The oven has hardly ever been used. It's kind of got a unique system in it where this has a high, medium, and low. And basically what it does, it turns on more coils from high, medium, and low. And I don't know when this is going to get done, but I hope sooner than later because there's always stuff I am needing to harden.
Troy says he has the next size up, and he would like to do the same guy who asked.
Oh, okay. Okay, Troy. Well, maybe we'll end up doing it. I'll do it just for you, Troy. Sooner, and I'm sure you've looked at controllers, and there's just some amazing controllers. Some of them have touch screens on them, and they're not that expensive anymore. I was looking at one, I can't remember the company, touchscreen, $400. Okay, pretty hard to pass up. My issue is I need something that I can control. Well, let's just say the menu system has to be more intuitive for me. So, all right, you guys, thank you for joining me. Soon we'll be selling t-shirts. In the next video, I'll talk about that if I got their website all figured out. Again, thank you so much for the 100,000 subscribers. And until next time, go out in your shop, build something.